Michael Haneke's 1992 film Benny's Video is a pretty upsetting movie. Like a lot of his films, it's cold and brutal and actively hostile to the audience. It's not an easy movie to sit through. This is kind of Haneke's usual style. If you've only seen one film by him, it was probably Funny Games, his 1997 take on the horror or thriller genre. It's like a slasher or a home invasion movie, except instead of having fun reveling in the blood and gore, we get long, brutal shots of people in pain and fourth wall breaking moments where the killers implicate us in what we're seeing. The killers know what kind of movie they're in, and they're going, "This is what you came to see, isn't it?" It's a horror movie that's critical of the horror genre. A common reading on Haneke, because of this, is that he makes movies that moralize about violence in media. And that his whole deal is a bit of a relic of the 90s, you know? It's the whole idea that violent video games make kids violent and all that. You probably roll your eyes a bit when you hear this. So if you go into Benny's Video with this sort of surface-level reading of Haneke, you'd be forgiven in kind of dismissing it as more pearl-clutching about violence in media. I mean, it's a movie about a media-addicted kid who ends up committing an act of violence. Like a lot of pessimistic media criticism from the 80s and 90s, it's easy to write this off as someone merely being scared of the newest thing. We live in an era that's well acquainted with the proliferation of television, and so when you run into people raising alarm bells about it, it feels quaint. I get it. But I think there's more to it than that. In Benny's Video, we get a glimpse into the life of an upper-middle-class family living their lives in a world completely shaped by overstimulation. Loud music blasting as Benny quietly does his homework, footage from the Yugoslav War, the Bosnian genocide, playing in the background while life coldly continues. This is the juxtaposition that Haneke is really good at, depicting modern life as both overstimulating and dull, simultaneously. One of the many awful images we are shown in the movie is a pig getting slaughtered with a bolt pistol. Don't worry, I'm not going to show you the video because it's real and it's upsetting. But Benny keeps watching the video over and over and over. It's a home video that he took when visiting a farm. He's interested in the process of turning real violence into an image. When something is captured by a camera, it becomes detached from reality, becomes something contextless and stimulating. Naturally, Benny's interest in this video of a pig slaughter eventually leads him toward making another video in which he kills a girl he meets outside the local video store with the same bolt pistol. She's merely another character in a video, like the pig, like the soldiers in Sarajevo. It's not merely that seeing violence in media desensitizes us to violence, it's that this media can allow us to begin to look at the world as an extension of media. It's about dehumanization and the breaking down of reality. It's about losing touch with the material world and living in a fantasy shaped entirely by our media environment. It's not about violent videos making us violent. It's about thinking you're living in a video. It's not about violent video games. It's about believing you live in a video game. Oh, silly Haneke. The 1990s were so quaint, it's not like anyone believes they're living in a video game.
Games will be indistinguishable from reality. Or civilization will end. One of those two things will occur. Therefore, we are most likely in a simulation.
Well, fuck.
At some point, indistinguishable from reality.
We'll lose this. Like, you and I are just looking at each other through our eyes.
This could be some simulation.
It could.
In 2016, a 4chan post considered the possibility that maybe the majority of people are NPCs. This is a video game term I'm sure you're familiar with, but in case you're not, it stands for non-playable character. These are the AI characters that populate a video game. They clearly don't have agency and are doing whatever they're programmed to do, giving you the same few lines of dialogue. The post puts it this way. I have a theory that there are only a fixed quantity of souls on planet Earth that cycles continuously through reincarnation. However, since the human growth rate is so severe, the soulless extra walking flesh piles around us are NPCs, who autonomously follow group thinks and social trends in order to appear convincingly human. I call these people NPCs because when you talk to them, they say the same shit every time. Trump is Hitler. Just be yourself. Sports ball. The new Adele song XDOMG. If you get in a discussion with them, it's always the same buzzwords and hackneyed arguments. They're the kind of people who make a show of discomfort when you break the status quo, like breaking the normie barrier to invoke a real discussion. It's like in a video... Okay, for those who don't speak stupid, this is video game in 4chan language. It's like in a video when you accidentally talk to somebody twice and they give you the exact lines word for word once more. Now, if you've got a working brain, which I hope you do, you can see a few immediate problems with this. It's kind of an insane worldview on the spiritual level there, but also this is true of any social group. Yes, people repeat things they've heard in their social groups. No shit. As a left-winger, a lot of hackneyed right-wing talking points feel this way to me too, like a series of buzzwords and memes that don't really correlate to reality. I mean, the very act of repeatedly calling everyone you don't like an NPC could be pointed to as an example of this. I can also immediately clock something like the sports ball line there as conveying to me that this person only thinks a conversation about sports feels like a few lines of dialogues repeated over and over because they don't know anything about sports. If someone didn't know anything about video games, vidya, a discussion about video games would sound the same to them. It's really easy to assume there's no depth to something you only understand on a surface level. But okay, I'm not here to argue with a 4chan post from 2016. What's important about this post is that it would produce a catch-all insult that online right-wingers use to refer to all of the normal people out there. NPCs. This would really pick up when a 2011 Psychology Today article began to be shared around on 4chan that claimed that not everyone has an internal monologue. This is another one of those things that, if you have a working brain, you can see some issues with. What exactly is an internal monologue? Does everyone perceive of their thinking as them talking to themselves? It's a bit of a weird study and honestly just a bit of dumb pop psychology, but online right-wingers love that stuff.
And why life is so terribly frustrating, remember that 50% of the population don't even have an inner monologue and they get to vote too. Well, I showed a study that I have the story from IFL Science. People with no internal monologue explain what it's like in their head.
Take a look at this little interaction from X the Everything app back in 2023. In it, the right-wing YouTuber Blair White brings up this pop psychology fun fact about internal monologues and says something I find chilling. The suspicion you have that everyone around you is stupid and barely sentient is 100% valid. To which Scott Adams, the Dilbert guy, adds, NPCs. Sounds right. I don't think I need to make an argument for why this is an insane and narcissistic worldview because I think it's apparent. But how does someone get here? How do you get to a point that you feel the majority of people are not real or human? You have to believe on some level that you live in a video game. Well, how do you end up that cut off from reality? See, here's a clever part of Benny's video. Beyond Benny's submersion into a world of screens and unreality, there's also his parents. When Benny confesses his murder to his parents and shows them the video, they decide to shield him from any consequences. His mother takes him on a trip away from the country, while the father disposes of the body back at home. The crime is able to just go away as if it wasn't real, as if she was just an NPC, and as if the murder was like one in a video game. You could turn the console off and walk away. No guilt. I think this worldview that we live in a simulation or that everyone around you is an NPC is most attractive to people who are able to detach themselves from reality. People who won't really face consequences. And if you think about it, this kind of makes sense. To be able to be completely sucked into a media fantasy requires having enough free time to be completely sucked into a media fantasy. If you're juggling 2 jobs to make ends meet, then you're probably not spending that time thinking about whether this is a simulation or not. This is the preoccupation of those who have enough time to play video games or scroll social media 24/7. But more than that, this is the preoccupation of people who don't directly deal with the real world. They deal with the world through a screen, primarily. I worked an office job doing data entry for 3 years. I know how much that can start to yank you out of reality if you don't have something grounding you and preventing you from locking yourself inside and becoming agoraphobic. It's easy to begin seeing the world through the lens of social media and spreadsheets. Now, Benny's parents are the landlords of the farmer who slaughtered the pig in that initial video. They lease it out and are able to make a profit off pig farming without ever getting their hands dirty. See, they aren't the ones killing the pigs. It's an abstraction for them. It's a number on a spreadsheet. This is the worldview that Benny inherits. The worldview of someone abstracted away from reality, who only interacts with it through the screen. In the same way, the fighting in Sarajevo feels unreal on that TV screen. But for the Bosnians enduring a genocide, it's very real. The unfortunate reality, though, like in Benny's video, is that these people who increasingly believe they are the main character of a video game are starting to impact the material world. They are starting to do things that have real-world consequences. Real people will really die in the real world because people like Elon Musk believe they're living in a simulation.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
But wait. It's not like the only people who think of the world this way are Elon Musk levels of rich, right? While I stand by the idea that your life needs to be spent mostly in an abstracted place before you start thinking everyone is an NPC, that doesn't mean everyone involved here is ultra wealthy. Now, another movie dealing with the oversaturation of media in daily life that I return to a lot is David Cronenberg's Videodrome.
Listen, I'd really like to take you out to dinner tonight.
Made in the 1980s, this movie is heavily influenced by the work of media theorist Marshall McLuhan. For McLuhan, changes in our media impact our perceptions of reality. His famous quote that you've probably heard is, "The medium is the message." For McLuhan, tools are an extension of the body. The wheel is the extension of the foot. The hammer is the extension of the hand. You get the idea. A technology extends some aspect of our human experience and, in the process, changes us. When it comes to media like TV, they extend the human senses. McLuhan puts it this way: all media works us over completely. They are so pervasive in their personal, political, economic, aesthetic, psychological, moral, ethical, and social consequences, they leave no part of us untouched, unaffected, unaltered. In Videodrome, our protagonist Max is the president of a seedy and sensationalist TV station called Civic TV, known for showing softcore porn mostly. Looking for something more extreme to put on TV, his buddy Harlan shows him video of a broadcast he found depicting torture and potentially snuff content called Videodrome.
What's this, Videodrome?
Torture, murder.
Sounds great.
Excited by this, he tries to discover the source, and the movie turns into a psychosexual nightmare. Max's perception of reality becomes permanently altered because of his repeated exposure to Videodrome. During his hallucinations, we see direct visual references to McLuhan's ideas about technology. Here's a gun becoming an extension of a hand, literally. Another direct reference to McLuhan we get is the character Brian Oblivion, who is directly based off Marshall McLuhan. Oblivion explains that Videodrome is a socio-political battleground for the minds of North America. Videodrome itself is being produced by an eyeglass/weapons manufacturer called Spectacular Optical Corporation. Their intent is to end North America's cultural decay by using Videodrome to kill anyone obsessed with sex and violence. But Oblivion's daughter, Bianca, reprograms Max to kill the CEO behind Videodrome and eventually to embrace the, quote, new flesh.
Get the Videodrome! Long live the new flesh!
This movie has a lot going on, and I'm honestly only scratching the surface, but I'm bringing up the basic components of the plot for this reason. Max becomes a soldier in a war between powers that are beyond him. By being sucked completely into the media machine, by becoming detached from reality, and entering into this world of screens, Max is at the whim of radical political movements and corporate interests. See, Max is an NPC. This is the cruel joke of the simulation theory obsession and these stupid NPC memes, is that it's all about encouraging you to embrace an abstracted reality shaped by media figures. This is a two-sided fantasy. Elon Musk believes he's in a simulation in order to distance himself from the consequences of any of his actions and to justify acting selfishly like the main character in a video game. But for those online right-wingers who are just frustrated, weird middle-class kids, this is about alienating you from reality. They are telling you that you're a main character and everyone else is an NPC because they don't want you connecting to other people. People like you. They want you to disappear into online discourses and to see the world more and more like a video game that they're designing. And as we watch Musk attempt to tear apart whatever exists of the administrative state for his own personal gain, he wants you as a foot soldier. He wants you to be a loyal NPC that follows his orders. But at the end of Benny's video, Benny rats on his parents. Somewhere inside of the cold and detached worldview that he inherited from his parents and the cold, overstimulating screens surrounding him all his life, there was still something resembling empathy and a notion of right and wrong. You don't have to accept your programming. You are not an NPC. You're not even a main character because you're not in a video game or a simulation. You're a human being in the real world with other human beings. But right now, there's a lot of people invested in you forgetting that.